Have you ever wondered what happens when you pray according to the Bible? In the realm of spirituality, prayer, as described in the Bible, is a deep and personal conversation with God. It's not merely a religious ritual or a recitation of words. Instead, it's a heartfelt conversation, a dialogue with the divine, an exchange imbued with faith, reverence, and a profound sense of connection. When we look at prayer through the lens of the Bible, we find that it's an essential channel and spiritual link that connects us to God. It's a divine hotline, if you will, that's always open, always available. It's a channel through which we can express our deepest desires, our greatest fears, our most profound hopes and dreams. In the Bible, prayer is portrayed as a potent instrument for transformation, direction, and healing. It's seen as a spiritual lifeline, a means of drawing closer to God, of cultivating a deeper, more meaningful relationship with the divine. Prayer in the Bible is not a one-way street. It's a two-way dialogue. It's not just about asking for things, but also about listening, about being open to divine guidance, about being receptive to God's wisdom and love. It's about surrendering ourselves to God's will, about acknowledging our dependence on Him, about expressing our gratitude for His blessings. It's an act of faith, an affirmation of our trust in God, a testament to our belief in His power and His goodness. And yet prayer in the Bible is not just about us and God. It's also about our relationship with others, about our role in the world, about our duty and responsibility as children of God. It's about seeking God's guidance in our interactions with others, about asking for His help in our efforts to make the world a better place. So, when we pray, according to the Bible, we're not just saying words, we're engaging in a profound spiritual practice, a divine dialogue that has the power to transform us, to uplift us, to guide us, to heal us. Now let's delve into some biblical accounts that highlight the power and impact of prayer. Consider Hannah, a woman in the Bible who experienced the power of prayer firsthand. Hannah's story is one of deep desire, genuine belief, and the heavenly interference that answered her passionate prayer. Was a woman of ancient Israel married to a man named Elkanah. Despite his affection for her, Hannah's heart was heavy with sorrow, for she was barren and had no children. In a society where a woman's worth was often measured by her ability to bear children, Hannah felt the sting of her barrenness deeply. Each year, Hannah accompanied her husband to the temple in Shiloh to offer sacrifices to God. During one of these visits, Hannah's desperation reached its peak. She approached the temple and poured out her heart to God. Her prayer was not a casual request, it was a plea born out of deep anguish and frustration. She begged God for a son and vowed to dedicate this child to His service if her prayer were answered. In her prayer, Hannah didn't hold back. She expressed her pain, her longing, her desperation. She was honest with God about her deepest desires and her darkest fears. Her prayer was raw and real, not masked in pretense or formality. She was sincere in her request and fervent in her belief. The priest saw Hannah in her passionate prayer and mistook her agony for drunkenness. But when she explained her distress, he blessed her and shared in her hope for God's favor. And God, in His infinite mercy and love, answered Hannah's prayer. She conceived and gave birth to a son, whom she named Samuel. True to her promise, Hannah dedicated Samuel to God's service, and he grew up to become one of Israel's greatest prophets. Hannah's story illustrates that sincere prayers, filled with faith and earnestness, can lead to miracles. Her prayer was not just a request, but a conversation with God, a pouring out of her soul. And it was this sincerity, this faith, this desperation that moved God to act on her behalf. Hannah's prayer teaches us that when we approach God with sincerity and faith, He hears us, and in His perfect timing, He answers. Another compelling instance of prayer's power is seen in the life of Daniel. Now, Daniel was a man of steadfast belief, a man of prayer. His story is found in the 6th chapter of the book bearing his name. Despite living in a foreign land under a king who did not worship his God, Daniel remained steadfast in his faith. Every day, without fail, Daniel would kneel in prayer 3 times. He would open his windows towards Jerusalem, his homeland, and pour out his heart to his God. But his belief was not without its tests. An edict was made that anyone who prayed to any god or man other than King Darius would be thrown into a den of lions. Yet Daniel, knowing the edict, did not waver. His determination to continue praying was unbroken. The repercussions were swift. Daniel was seized and thrown into the lion's den. Yet, in the face of seemingly certain death, Daniel's faith did not falter. He trusted in his God, and his trust was not in vain. That night, the mouth of the lions was shut and Daniel was spared. When King Darius rushed to the den at the break of day, he found Daniel unharmed. The king was overjoyed and ordered Daniel to be lifted from the den. Not a scratch was found on him, for he had trusted in his Daniel story as a powerful testament to the power of prayer. His steadfast belief and regular prayer to God led to his protection and deliverance. It's a story that teaches us that no matter the circumstances, no matter the challenges, the power of prayer and faith can lead us to divine protection and deliverance. Even when faced with the lion's den of life, prayer can shut the lion's mouth. It is a shield, a refuge, a solace, and a connection to the divine. Daniel's story underscores the defensive strength of prayer in our lives. No discussion on prayer is complete without mentioning Jesus, the central figure of the Bible. In the Gospel of Luke, Jesus is often found praying. Luke 5:16 tells us that he often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Jesus not only exercised prayer but also cherished it. He valued those quiet moments of connection with his Father, and he encourages us to do the same. It's evident that prayer was a fundamental aspect of Jesus' existence. It was his direct line to the Father, a source of strength, guidance, and wisdom. He prayed before making important decisions, during times of distress, and even in moments of joy and gratitude. His life was saturated with prayer, demonstrating its power and necessity. But Jesus did more than just encourage prayer. He gave us a template to guide us in our prayer life. This template is famously known as the Lord's Prayer, found in Matthew 6:9-13. He starts by addressing God as our Father in heaven, signifying an intimate, personal relationship. He then acknowledges God's holiness. Hallowed be your name. This reminds us to approach God with reverence and awe. Next, he prays for God's kingdom to come and his will to be done. This reflects a heart that is aligned with God's purposes, not our own. He then asks for daily provision. Give us today our daily bread. This teaches us to depend on God for our needs. Following this, he seeks forgiveness. Forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. This underlines the importance of forgiveness in our relationship with God and others. Lastly, he prays for protection from temptation and deliverance from evil, showing us that prayer is also a spiritual weapon. The Lord's Prayer is more than a set of words to be recited. It's a blueprint for how we should approach God, what we should pray for, and the attitude we should have in prayer. It encapsulates the heart of prayer, communion with God. Jesus' teachings and examples serve as a template for our own prayer life. So what do these stories tell us about what happens when we pray? Take a moment to reflect on the narratives we've explored. Each story is distinct, but they all echo the same profound truth. Prayer is a potent force that can influence our lives in remarkable ways. Consider Hannah, who was barren and felt the sting of societal scorn. In her despair, she turned to prayer, humbly and earnestly beseeching God for a child. Her faith was rewarded when she became the mother of Samuel, one of Israel's greatest prophets. Hannah's story is a testament to the power of prayer, which can manifest miracles and blessings even in the bleakest of circumstances. Then we have Daniel, who was thrown into a den of lions for his unwavering devotion to prayer. His faith didn't waver even when faced with certain death. And what happened? God sent an angel to shut the lions' mouths, protecting Daniel from harm. This story reminds us that prayer can act as a guard, providing heavenly protection in times of peril. Finally, there's Jesus, who frequently retreated to solitude to pray. He sought guidance and strength from his Heavenly Father, aligning his will with that of God's. This highlights that prayer is not just a request for divine intervention, but a way to pursue God's wisdom and align ourselves with his divine plan. So what does this mean for us? It means that prayer, in its essence, is not a mere ritual or a desperate plea sent into the void. It's a deep, personal conversation with God, a tool we can use to tap into divine power, protection and guidance. It's a way to humble ourselves, to seek wisdom, to express gratitude and to request help. The grand scheme of things, prayer serves as the spiritual lifeline that connects us to the divine, helping us navigate the complexities and challenges of life. In the words of the Bible, the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective, James 5:16.